Hi, I'm Sarah, and I thought it was a good time to do a wee update because there's a lot of people struggling at the moment. There's a lot of people whose outgoing expenses is more than their income. The first thing you want to do, if you know you're losing money, is to figure out your household expenses, sort out your budget. Go online, look at your bank account, and write down everything in categories like food, electricity, whatever that you're spending, insurance, all that sort of thing. You need to be honest. So don't just sort of say, oh, I spend $200 a week at the supermarket. If you also go and buy the odd coffee, buy the odd chocolate bar, do the odd top-up shop, go and pick up a can from somewhere as you're driving past. You need to write down every single little thing because it really does matter and it really does add up. So once you know exactly what you're spending in each category, do a weekly average, how much you're spending per week on that thing. Now I'm going to do a quick example. I have done a whole nother video on this, which I'll probably link down below. You want to calculate this on the least amount you're going to be getting. By that I mean, like my husband, for example, he's on an hourly rate. So some weeks he may work more hours than other weeks. So for us, I'd work out the absolute minimum that we know that we're going to have incoming. So as an example, if we say that's $700, then you're paying $300 a week for either your mortgage or your rent. If you're spending $80 a week on petrol, a $200 electricity bill per month, divide that by 4 to break it down into weeks, and that's $50 per week. If you've got an internet and phone package at say $90 a month, if you break that down per week, that's $22.50 per week. If you've got kids at school, they're paying either school fees or stationery or general school expenses. Let's just say that's $40 a term. There's 4 terms here in New Zealand per year, so if we break that down per week, that's about $3.07 per week, your rates bill. If your rates bill is $2,000 a year, broken down into weeks, that's $38.46 per week. Insurances, let's say $250 a month, broken down is $62.50 a week. Let's say you're spending $200 a week on food. Hobbies, you've got to allow for that as well. If you do need to spend some money on your hobbies, just as an example, me and my kids all do Taekwondo. We've got a family discount because we're all doing it, which is $55 a month. So that costs us $13.75 per week. So, allow for everything, every little thing you're spending money on. So in my example there, the outgoings come to $770.28. Now if you've got $700 coming in, you're $70.28 short. So that's where you need to really look at, right, where can we cut back? One of the first things I normally think about when I think about cutting back on expenses is food. But I'm actually going to say in this instance, this should be the last thing because it's the most variable thing. Electricity, internet, phone, insurance, the things that are like a fixed amount that are going out every month. Of course, electricity, yeah, that can be variable as well, but things like the plans that you're on, you need to ring around. Even if you ring around, if you're an introvert, by the way, like me, I'm an extreme introvert, I don't even like calling people. Get on the email, they're all pretty quick to respond to emails and that sort of thing. Some even have little forms to fill out on their websites. But even get in touch with the people that you are already with, just to let them know that you are doing a bit of an annual ring around and making sure you're still on the best deal, and they might sharpen the pencil, they could sweeten the deal. Get quotes from as many different places as you can think of. There's a lot of places that do like package deals for, internet, phone and power. Sometimes they work out better, sometimes they don't. I mean, with us, we're with Power Shop, who are pretty good, and I think we're with Slingshot at the moment for our phone and internet. Slingshot do have power, but it doesn't work out cheaper to go with them. That's just in my instance, you know, that could be variable depending on the person, on the situation. Now with your electricity, you've also got to, of course, you've got to look at your usage. If you know you're going to be doing some baking and you know you're going to be making dinner, try and time it so that the oven's not cooling down and then reheating again. Try and, you know, do all your things at the same time. And I know that our oven, the way it works is when I turn it off, it actually keeps humming away. There's a fan that actually pushes the warm air out, so it automatically cools itself down. While it's doing that, I leave the door wide open because then it's going to cool down quicker. And if it's a cold day, it helps to warm things a bit. So, you know, just think about making the most of everything. If you use a heat pump or an air conditioner, make sure you are running it efficiently. I'll probably link my video down below to that as well, because that depends a lot on your air conditioner and your heat pump as to what is the most efficient way to use it. If you've got a fireplace, go scavenging for pine cones as fire starters. Also cabbage tree leaves, flax bushes, so don't buy fire starters. If you're hard up for the actual wood itself, there are lots of places that use wooden pellets. Untreated wooden pellets are perfectly okay for burning in your fireplace. Christchurch City, go for a drive around on the weekends or after hours. There's a lot of industrial places that just leave their pallets on the side of the road for people to take for that purpose. Your heated towel rail. If you use a heated towel rail, that's fine. Hang your towel up, switch it on. When they're dry, turn it off. This is something I'm so guilty of, and that's boiling the jug, walking away, doing something while it's boiling. So I'm not wasting time standing there and then half an hour later thinking, oh, I was going to make me a coffee. And also, don't put more water in than what you need. You don't need to fill it up and boil an entire jug just to make 1 cup of tea. Washing your clothes as well. If you can get away with doing a cold wash, then do a cold wash. 99% of the time I can get away with just washing my clothes in cold water and it's fine. Now with your insurance, as I say, with all the other things, absolutely ring around, get the best deal you can, but of course you can also go through a broker. They don't cost you anything, they work for you and they work for the insurance company and they will find you the best deal. Most brokers that I've dealt with in the past are really, really good. When it comes to, especially when it comes to renewing your mortgage and that sort of thing, because they can often get you a slightly better deal than what you will just get approaching them yourself, so that's worth a thought as well. Petrol prices have gone through the roof. The one big obvious thing is use your car less. Calculate the cost of public transport, see if it will cost less to do that. Walk, bike if you can. Don't speed. You put your foot down on that accelerator, the higher the revs, the more petrol you're using. Don't carry more weight in the car than you need to. Your air conditioner can, you know, your car actually uses up a little bit more petrol when you've got the air conditioner turned on. So just use your fan or open your window. Another option, of course, is carpooling. If you're able to carpool with someone to get to work and back, then brilliant. Now, your hobbies. I don't want to tell people to cut back on their hobbies, but if it's something like a gym membership that you don't really use, consider something other. Maybe just consider go for a walk, go for a bike, go hiking. If you need your hobbies, then do it. But yeah, just always think about, is there a cheaper option? Don't pay for something that you're not using. Now, when it comes to food, when you do your shop, do it with the idea in mind that you're there to buy ingredients, not pre-made things. You will find that the ingredients to make food is so much cheaper than buying pre-made food. I'm talking muesli bars, you know, snacks, crackers, sushi, bread, burger buns, things like that. You can make it all yourself and it's fairly simple. It just costs a bit of time. Sorry if you can hear the cat playing with her jingly toy in the background. The time to make some things like muesli bars, it's not a lot. But you've also got to think of things like if you normally buy a coffee when you're out and about, If you swing by somewhere, buy a coffee for $5. Just stop and think of what that $5 could buy. You can buy a kilo of apples and a kilo of carrots for $5, depending on the week, depending on what's on special. Or even a couple of bags of frozen veggies. And that's the other thing, frozen veggies. If you can't afford fresh veggies, sometimes it can be a cheaper and better option to just buy bags of frozen veggies. If you're able to grow your own veggies, then absolutely do that. We've got a couple of big veggie patches. If you haven't got that kind of space, then all you really need is some planter boxes or even a bucket. You can grow potatoes in a bucket, just plant a potato. But if you want sort of instant gratification with your veggie growing, I'd highly recommend either spinach or radishes. They both grow really quick, and the radishes, most veggies, you can actually eat the leaves as well as the actual veggie that it's growing. Consider having, say, one veggie meal per week if you're a big meat eater. Make it something that's nice and satisfying, like a veggie curry or nachos, something people will like. But you could also try substitutes like falafel patties instead of burger patties, or replace your mince with lentils, or even just do a half and half mince, half lentil mixture. But also leftovers. This is a biggie. I read somewhere that in New Zealand in 1 year, 157,000 tonnes of food gets wasted every year. Get down! The cat just jumped up on the wall unit. That was my angry voice. Don't waste stuff. Always use your leftovers. Even if this may not appeal to some people, but you're always going to have kids that don't finish their dinners. Quite often if they don't, and it's something that I really like, I'll actually scrape all the leftovers, put it in like a margarine tub or something like that, put a lid on, label it leftovers, and put it in the freezer, and I might just defrost it for my lunch one day. Don't just put them in a container and stick them in the fridge swearing you're going to use them and then don't. You got to actually use them, that's the hard part. So yeah, your stale bread crusts, chop them up, make a bread pudding. When you go to do your grocery shop, make sure that you plan it. Make sure that before you set off, you actually know what you've got and what you haven't got. Have a look in your fridge, your freezer, your pantry. Just take a note of what you could potentially make with what you've already got in there for your dinner. How many dinners have you got, or how many part dinners have you got that you might just need to buy something to make? If you wanted advice for what to do with what you've currently got in your pantry, flick us a message on my Facebook group, Cheaper Ways NZ on Facebook. Flick us a message. There are a lot of people there with a lot of knowledge, far greater than me, that have the ability to come up with dinner suggestions. So, let us know what ingredients have you got, and see if people can help you come up with what you could actually make with what you've already got, just to save you having to do a top-up shop or anything like that. Yeah, as I say though, make sure you go to the supermarket with a list. Do your shopping online if it is cheaper, because that way, you're not tempted to do some impulse buys. At my local Pack and Save, we have these little shop and go scanners, which I love using them, because you can scan everything as you go. You can see exactly what you're spending. If you normally like your name brand products when it comes to the food, definitely go for home brand or the cheaper brand. Usually they have the expensive stuff at eye level on the shelves, so look down. Usually down bottom shelf, that's where they put the cheaper stuff. Especially if it's something like pasta or rice, it's not really going to make much of a difference. See if you've got any community gardens, community orchards, any scavenging places. Ask around, ask your neighbours, see if they know of anywhere, because at the moment, there's actually quite a few apples growing wild around the place. There's Facebook groups that are actually giving away free things as well. I'll just give a quick shout out to the Araha Project, who are located in Rangiora. Bex, who works there, she does an amazing job. She gets donations of goods, gives them away to people, simple as that. So definitely look up, see if you've got any sort of Facebook groups close to you that are doing freebies and that sort of thing, or people who've got things to give away for free. Old clothes. Definitely repair them where you can, especially the kids' clothes. I don't like to spend too much on kids' clothes because they have a habit of growing. We're pretty lucky with our school uniform at the moment. It's just a top and they can wear whatever pants. I just buy them black track pants. And the amount of old holey socks that I've kept hold of and actually just cut them up. If they're black socks, cut out a square, sew it onto the hole that's in the track pants knee. I mean, it doesn't have to be flash, but you know, have a go at repairing. But also, of course, secondhand. If you need something, don't be afraid to look secondhand. But yeah, there's lots of secondhand clothes shops around the place with some really good stuff. So it is always worth looking secondhand if you really need something. But also selling what you have. If you've got a bag of old kids' clothes, sort it into sizes, and even if you just, you know, if you don't want to give it away for free, even if you just say $10 a bag, someone will have picked up a bargain. You'll be $10 better off in the pocket. If you're into your books, needless to say, the library, it's free to join, it's free to borrow books. But just remember that it's saving. You're not going to find one big thing that's going to suddenly save you $50 a week. You know, there's not going to be one big huge thing that will save you a lot of money. It is just $1 here, $1 there, but you can do it. Feel free to jump onto my Facebook group and just check out some of the ideas that we've already got on there, or ask questions or whatever, make your little contribution. That would be great. Yeah, share this video around, hit like, please leave me a comment down below, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.